Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wild Moments brought to you by Explorer.org. I'm so excited to be with you all. We're going to be chatting about some of the most interesting and funny and just quirky behavior that we've had over quite a long time here with Wild Moments and Explore.org. And it's me, Trishala, and I am sounding a little bit nasally, and that's because I'm not feeling too well. But nonetheless, I'm here with you to experience some African bush moments. And Tristan was meant to join us, but unfortunately he could not. So hopefully we'll get him on board another time. So to start things off, first let me tell you what we're going to do. So we have a couple of clips that we're going to discuss that have some really cool behavior, some fun moments, and some of my favorite animals in there as well. I wonder if you can guess which is one of my favorites. It's very big, I'll tell you that much. So the first clip that we're going to be looking at is not one of my favorites, even though I love them all, but a couple of reptiles. So remember to send through your questions, especially after you have a look at these clips. I love the way how the crocodile just sneaks up. Oh, too hard for you, Mr. Croc. Almost looks like they're having a tender moment there when they realize that no one can get anything from the other. Just back away slowly. That is truly very, very, very interesting because one, the child, obviously, look at this tortoise backing away. It's a very, very slow interaction we have here. Oh, a bit of a stretch of the back leg. This is a very brave tortoise. No, I'm entitled to have a drink here too, so yeah, deal with it. So interesting. This is amazing. We're so fortunate that this kind of behavior can be captured, and off the croc goes. And then what appears to be a leopard tortoise can have a nice drink as it intended. Hi, Gemma. Gemma says, good day from New Jersey. Hi, Gemma. Good day from Cape Town. And Pounce, hello from Florida. Hi, Pounce. Hi, James Richard. Hello to you. It's nice to hear from you. And we've got Jan Powers. Hello from Arizona. Wow, so many people joining us. Zygote, I love your name. Say hi, Trishala. Hi, Zygote. Now, so many interesting things happen in that clip. So we've got two reptiles. Both look particularly uncomfortable. But what's very interesting is both those reptiles have very good vision. And so clearly the crocodile saw that the tortoise was approaching the water. But I am 100% sure that the tortoise saw the crocodile too. And that's further evident by the fact that the tortoise turned around, obviously got a bit spooked, but turned around and still came to the water to have a drink. And now they both have some pretty good vision compared to other reptiles. So they have a full color spectrum from reds to ultraviolets. So they've definitely seen each other. And now obviously the croc couldn't really get through the tortoise's shell. And that's a pretty big leopard tortoise. And unfortunately for the for the crocodile, it went for the worst possible bite, which is over the top of the shell. And obviously you guys know the tortoise can very easily pull its head into its shells. That's obviously a way for it to protect itself. But I found it very interesting that always in the animal kingdom, the amount of energy that you expend in order to get your kill is very important. If you're going to expend too much energy trying to get your kill, you might as well let it go. And that's exactly what the crocodile did. But what interesting behavior there. I mean, I've never seen that, and I've guided for 3 years in areas where I should be able to see something like that. So that's awesome. Really, really cool moment that we managed to capture there. So the next one is actually, I actually lied to you. There's several of my favorite animals on here. I should actually stop saying that because I have all of them are my favorite. But the next one has a very special place in my heart. Oh, look at that. If you didn't guess what it is, because it kind of looked like a little rat at first, it's a hyena, a spotted hyena. Wow, we're getting a really good look up close into its nose and eyes and its mouth. I'm 100% sure that none of you have seen the inside of a hyena's mouth. In fact, this is the closest you're going to get to seeing those things so up close and personal. Look at you, you cutie. I love hyenas so much, so it's very difficult for me to get scientific, which I usually am when I see them. So this is one of the cams that are obviously accessible to the shorter animals. Well, not really shorter, but I mean elephant, like they're quite tall. But this one's one of the shorter ones, or rather lowly mounted ones. Oh, hello, getting another sniff. Oh, this is too adorable. I wonder if you can see there. Actually, let's just. Oh, wow. Yay, we all got a very wet French kiss from a hyena. That's what it looks like. Hyenas are so adorable and so very, very intelligent. And I love how they just skulk around. So we saw some pretty awesome things there. I'm going to get Kirst to play it again. And I want to pause at the nose of the hyena that we saw, because they tend to have really large noses. So if we think about the ways that hyenas hunt, they have a lot of endurance. They can go for, there we go, just back a tad. So it's a huge nose. Obviously, I understand that it's really close to the camera, but they have huge nostrils on that nose, and that allows them to take in lots of oxygen that gives them this endurance so that they can actually run for a long time when they need to hunt. Because remember, unlike many other predators that we get out in the bush, like leopards, they don't have a style where they'll ambush prey. Instead, they'll run them out. You'll just see them running through herds of impala, for example. Huge nose and also some really large eyes. Oh, this is too cute. I'd also like to have a pause when we see the inside of the mouth. This is amazing because there's two of them having a go at this camera. There we go. So there's that lovely tongue, and you can also see the palate of the hyena. Okay, it's not very clear, I understand. But that tongue that's wiggling about is doing incredible things. The fact that it's wiggling, if we think about what their tongue is for, fundamentally it's not for tasting. Fundamentally it's for maneuvering food. So the way that it's wiggling about is telling me that the hyena is thinking that he could or she could actually can actually eat that cam, thinking of ways to just, pull it in. The hyenas have got about 34 teeth. I'm not sure we saw all 34 of them down there. But we also managed to see their nice big eyes. So hyenas are super, super curious, and that's a great display of their curiosity. So they'll often find cams, they'll often find and take anything. I've had shoes missing from hyenas plenty of times, and that's because they're very curious, and it's actually a mark of their intelligence. Curiosity is often an indication of intelligence as well as social structures. So in that particular clip, you saw an example of hyenas being curious and displaying their intelligence. I'm sorry, but there seems to be some sort of construction going on nearby, which goes very well with my neighbor who decided to practice saxophone not too long before we started the show. Oh, hi. Oh, Jan Power says, say ah. Yes, that's exactly right. The hyenas are probably going, ah. And Mary Momo said, you are correct. Never seen the inside of the mouth till now. Well, there you go, Mary Momo. Now you've seen the inside. Uh, Jan Paula says, check those tonsils out. Wow. That I can't say I looked as far into the throat as you did uh, for the tonsils. James Richard, you would like to know you've never really noticed how long a hyena's whiskers are when you see them from afar, and they definitely look rat-like that close up, right? I thought so too. When the hyena was approaching the camera, it was kind of blown out by the infrared light. You kind of just saw these very thick whiskers, and the shape of the muzzle looked very much like a rat. Very different from rats, though. But it did very much look like a rat. And they have, like you said, James Richard, this really nice thick vibrissae or whiskers that help them to detect the space around them. Hi, Pounce. Pounce wants to know how many hours in a day do hyenas sleep? So let me start by saying you've obviously heard that, lions will sleep for 18 or 20 hours in a day. And while that is true superficially or in a superficial way, they're not knocked out. They are still aware of their surroundings. I would call it more resting for that time. So if we think about hyenas and how long hyenas are resting for that period, for the day, I would say maybe half the day, even less. I would say even less, because I've spent a lot of time with hyenas, and even though they look like they're not doing something, I've sat with them for hours and hours, and they will lift their head up if they hear a sound, even something that's not audible to myself. So I'd say just less than half the day, maybe 8 hours of resting, maybe 10 hours of resting, and 6 hours of sleep, like actual sleep. Because remember, animals also need REM sleep, because that's what helps your brain to reset. I say reset because there's a lot of biology that goes into what happens when you sleep. But ultimately, you are anyway. You need to sleep. It's a very complex biology goes into what's happening when you're engaging in REM sleep, and animals do need it too. So they obviously have to sleep. Anyway, I can go on and on about hyenas, but now we have to move on to one of my other really favorite. No, I'm not going to even use that word. Another one of the great animals that we get in Africa. I love when baby ellies are drinking, especially when they're not fully wet, so they get this kind of mask going on. Like got knee-high boots in the front, some sneakers in the back, and a COVID mask over its face. So if you're unsure what the baby ellie is doing, it's trying to drink, Now, this one is fairly small. If you have a close look, you can see that it's still quite hairy all over. Indicates it's still pretty young. I would maybe put this in at about 6 months, maybe even under 4 to 6 months. Actually, it's very hard to tell without it being right next to the mum. Definitely under a year though, because a baby will pass underneath the belly of the mum for that first year. But this one does look quite tiny, and the way that it is has zero control over that trunk tells me that you're pretty little, aren't you? Yes. It's like a little worm, the trunk. So there we have a slightly older Ellie that's drinking the way that you're familiar with, siphoning up water in its trunk and then pouring it into the mouth. And this baby's trying to give it a go. Oh, you almost got it. There we go. Suck some up and into your mouth. Nope. Again, some displays of curiosity. That is that you lost me for a little bit, but at least you got to watch the Ellie clip more than enough times. I bet. I'm sure it can brighten your day whenever, always. Have you? Everything just went. I hope that I'm back. Anyway, as I was saying, baby elephants can brighten your day anyway. In fact, Mary Momo says baby elephants are really quite funny to watch. Absolutely. Oh, and Joy Rushworth. Hi, Joy. You say elephants, particularly baby elephants, can make any day better. Absolutely. Pounce. Hey again, Pounce. You say, is there any type of internal valve that keeps them from sucking water too high into their trunk? Not as far as I know, which is why it takes quite a while for an elephant to learn how to use their trunk properly. So it takes them up to a year to use it in a way.
Good afternoon.
An internal valve of sorts. No, well, it's not as far as I know, but I will actually go and check that up because I'm not sure. But as far as I know, I haven't read anything like that. Rolling trouble. You say the trunk is like a worm. Plus, when it's wet and it looks all smooth and slimy, it looks particularly like a worm, right? You know, and he or she doesn't know how to drink yet. I know they don't. Marcella, you asked how long can they wild? I'm assuming you're talking about the elephants because I saw that question quite earlier on. They can live for so in a zoo environment, which obviously means that they're taken care of and they're not exposed to predators, and also in the old age they're taken care of, they can live to up to about 80. So that's a long, long time. But more typically in the bush, you're looking at about 50 years old, 50 to 60, 60 being on the older side. But if you were asking about hyenas, I'm sorry, it's just because I saw your question quite early on. If you're talking about hyenas will live for about 12 years, 10 to 12 years in the wild, and about 25 years in the zoo. Also, very long-lived animals. One of the things I really love about looking at these kinds of moments with animals is the fact that we get to share some kind of they resonate with us in some sort of a human way in the behaviors, or whether it's like, the cuteness of not being able to use the trunk, or the curiosity of biting a cam. Those types of behaviors just make you feel like we would have experienced children who display similar types of things. It just kind of makes us more compassionate and empathize with the animals a little more, which I think is what we need for conservation. So our next clip is a red hartebeest herding a flamingo. This I haven't seen before, so I'm very excited to see this. Oh my goodness. Well, so many just like strange, like I said to you, human type feelings that get provoked, or get evoked rather. So it felt like there goes the flamingo, and then one hartebeest, and then the next one just making a beeline for it, and then the next one. Again, displaying so much curiosity. Oh, I see the fourth and fifth friend down there, not too interested in the flamingo. Herd animals and birds coexisted for a long time, and they spend a lot of time together. So it's not as if the hartebeest has never seen a flamingo before in this context, or an egret, or any other animal, any other bird that would come and spend time with herd animals. So this is purely a curiosity thing. And that behavior is typical. You'll even see it with elephants when they'll chase like an Egyptian goose or something, because it's just another animal that's in their space and they could interact with it. But my favorite thing about that clip was not that I think that red hartebeests are very expressive, because I mean, look at that face. Not too much expression going on there, but it's almost identical to the hartebeest before, but behind it, excuse me. It's just got this exact herd mentality. Like, oh, there you go. I'm gonna follow, and then the next one's gonna follow, and we're all gonna be equally interested in this poor girl and ask it questions like, how can you stand on one leg? That's what I'd be asking the flamingo. Except we do know why. It conserves more energy because their body acts like a pendulum. If they're on one leg, it helps them balance. Anyway, separate discussion for another time. We're actually running out of time. I've been having so much fun with our fun moments, but we have, let's move on to the next clip where we have one of the smaller animals who's being a bit of a thief. Nice one, hammerkop. Got yourself a meal. Oh. That is a smart hammerkop. It was thinking to move its kill into the water, but instead it didn't manage to get it in time. And that little slender mongoose got the frog at the end, in the end anyway. All animals are opportunists, including ourselves. So if we get the opportunity, or there's some gap somewhere, someone's going to take advantage of that gap. And that's exactly what the slender mongoose did in that moment. Now, oh, let's see if any of you. Oh, hi, Pounce D again. You said you're really enjoying my perspective. Why, thank you very much. Sometimes I can be a bit overly sciencey, but that's me and I enjoy it, and I'm glad that you do too, Pounce. We are running out of time. I wonder, Kirst, if we have a moment for our last clip that we want to share with you. There we go. Let me start off by saying that very seldom, though there are lion prides that specialize in taking down elephants, very seldom, if a pride is not specialized in doing that they would be successful in taking down an elephant. Here they look half interested, and that elephant does not look like it cares about the lions one bit. Again, what an interesting example of curiosity, because these lions know that this elephant is too big for them. And another thing, apart from the amount of energy animals expend when they need to get a kill, is also the other thing they take into account is risk. So these lions, though they would love to sink their teeth into an elephant, they know that they could be killed very, very easily. So how great is the risk and the effort to take down the elephant? It is very, very high. You see, one lion's definitely got never mind, it's a little bit braver. That's the word I'm looking for. Very short-lived bravery there. This looks like a young-ish bull as well, elephant, and they could be the most temperamental. You can have great fun watching them, But if I were a lion, that would be the not the type of elephant I would try to go for, even if I knew that I couldn't get elephants. Even if I just wanted to have a bit of curious fun, I wouldn't go for for a young bull. Ooh, that sounded like a strange sentence. As soon as the elephant turned around, those lions knew the game was up. I love watching animal behavior. I think my favorite sightings have always been animal interactions, especially different animals interacting, because every animal has a um, different primary senses, different approaches to, say, hunting, or um, differences in their curiosity and their intelligence. And when you get to see them interact, that is the best sighting, because that's when you really get to see, you get to, you know, pin them against each other in terms of curiosity and intelligence and the way that they interact. So those are always my favorite sightings, and I'm so glad that I got to share it with you all. So anyway, I'm sorry that you were stuck with just me today, but you'll be seeing more of me over the next couple of weeks. But hopefully, I'll have a partner with me, and I look forward to it. Oh, Gemma, you say thank you, and you hope that I feel better. Thank you very much. I am feeling better already after seeing all the animals and getting to spend time with all of you. So, anyway, thanks everybody for joining us with Wild Moments, brought to you by explore.org. We're so excited, we always are, to have you on board. So, we'll see you again next time.